Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick here, dropping in on you. Hope everybody is getting your week off to a great start. This is Monday, so you know what that means. This is Money Monday. We talk about principles, practices, patterns, the things that you need to know to help improve your financial situation. And we have 2 days that focuses on that. One is Money Monday, the other is Wealth Building Wednesday. I like to see Money Monday as the front end of the spectrum and Wealth Building Wednesday as the back end of the spectrum. And so that's what we do. We talk about revenue generation, pretty much how to actually create streams of income on the front end, or how you earn your money, how you can go out, how you manage your money. Wealth building is about the principles of actually not only holding your money, but making your money work for you. And so today is Money Monday. We're going to get into it real briefly. Today is what is your mindset? A money mindset is so important in this whole thing. You could talk about uh, different types of trends. You can talk about different skill sets. You can talk about different principles. But if you don't have the right mindset, you are not going to fare well in this. Psychology and mindset and focus and the ability to frame things is immensely important when we're talking about money on any level. And before I get started, I just want to tell you, hey, you missed an unbelievable opportunity over the weekend. If you didn't get a chance to take advantage of the 7-day online business launch course and all of the stacked bonuses that I added to it, I gave so much away free for the people who were willing to sign up. That is gone as promised. It left last night at 11:59. But here's what I do have. I still have the 7-day online business launch course. And I'm going to tell you why. While we talk about mindset, why that's important. The 7-day online business launch course. This is the blueprint I've been using for over 13 years to create revenue for myself, to support me and my family, and create a future for my family online. So it works. I'm not giving you something that I bought from some package to resell. I'm not giving you something I hope or thinks. I'm taking what I have literally invested well over a decade of my life in mastering so that I can secure my future and the future of my family. And I'm passing it on to you because it's going to be extremely important over the next 10 years. So that's that. But I'm not giving you all of those bonuses that I gave over the weekend free. But what I am doing is this. I'm letting you pick one. You can pick any one of the, I think it's 4 or 5 bonuses that I put in there. You pick the one you want to add to this, and it's yours free. And finally, the big one. The first person who signs up and registers today, because this whole offer ends at 11:59 p.m. tonight, but the first person who signs up for the 7-day online business launch course gets to pick one of the bonuses. And the mega bonus is 6 intensive transformational sessions with yours truly. That's a $3,000 value. That's free. That's 6 sessions, 6 weeks with me to hammer out your future, not just your financial future, your career, where you're, any area that you want to improve in, we're going to tackle it. And that's 6 sessions, absolutely free, a $3,000 value. That's for the first person who signs up. Everybody else still gets the course plus whatever bonus they want. That's on that list. But now let's talk. Let's get to it. I hope that somebody takes advantage of it. But if not, I gave it to you. Mindset is so important. I tell people all the time when they come to me that I'm going to show you principles. I'm going to show you practices. I'm going to teach you the habits of the highly successful. I am going to show you different strategies. I'm going to help you create a plan. That's what I do. I'm going to help you do all that. But if you don't have the right mindset, you're still going to struggle. Psychology, in the way you think about anything, is going to be 80% of whether you succeed or fail. Your mindset around something is going to determine how well you deal with it, how well you handle it. Having the right money mindset. And when people tend to use the term money mindset, they normally use it as having a money mindset is the way to win. The truth is everybody has a money mindset. The difference is I categorize them in two primary categories. I categorize them as one being an investor, wealth builder, whatever you want to call it, and a consumer, someone that is going to ultimately find themselves in debt because consumers tend to spend beyond their means. Though that's the primary one mindsets, but then how you view money in so many different areas is going to determine if you have the right mindset around money, if you understand what money means, if you view money, if your view of money is putting yourself in the right perspective. So let me tell you what I mean by this. If I see money and I have a scarcity mindset, I'm going to be tight with my money. I'm going to be stressed all the time about money. I'm going to treat money as if it's hard to get. That mindset is going to make money hard to get. But more importantly, the problem is in order to truly grow money, you've got to trust that I can put money out and it will come back. A scarcity mindset will never allow you to do that. So that mindset would literally choke the life out of your financial future. You will work your butts. I've seen people do it, work their butts off, and are so tight that they've got their money in a savings account with an interest-bearing savings account with an interest rate that isn't outpacing inflation. And so they're actually losing money. And let me explain how that happens. Your money in currency, that dollar is a representation of a value. The value of that dollar is constantly fluctuating. And in our sense, it's constantly depreciating. So when I hold is one of the reasons is inflation. The other reason is the dollar doesn't have anything backing it of value. It's not on the standard. It's a debt-based economy, meaning that basically the value of the dollar is based on how much we can convince American consumers to spend beyond their means. So we need people to go in debt buying stuff in order to give the dollar value, because that's where the value is. People buy that debt. So then if I have money and I have a dollar, and when I get the dollar, it's worth 100 cents. Okay, but I put it in an interest-bearing account that bears 3% interest. But the dollar is depreciating in value by 6%. In 10 years, I've actually lost money by having it in the account. But I didn't want to put it into anything because I didn't want to lose it, but you lost it. Money mindset. Money mindset is going to tell you how you plan for your future. A lot of people have an in the moment mentality. It's great for to have spontaneity. It's good to sit up and say, I want to do something off the cuff, but you need to be able to manage and have a specific designation of how you're going to allocate your assets. When you get paid, that's an asset. Now, how you allocate it is going to determine what that asset does for you. Going and spending money at the mall, going and buying the next pair of Jordans, going and all this stuff. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't treat yourself to a certain thing, but that should be literally a specified allocation of how much of your income is going to go towards discretionary spending. I had a conversation with someone who I have respect for, and they have respect for me, and we both have businesses. And I was just discussing discretionary spending with them. It's not whether you have it or not. It's whether it applies or qualifies as a discretionary asset or discretionary funds. Just because it's there doesn't mean it's discretionary. It has an allocation. And the problem is most people aren't allocating properly because they aren't thinking properly. And all of these things matter if you're talking about longevity. Another problem is when you are constantly in a state of instant gratification. Immediately, I need something to make me feel good. Immediately, I need something to show me that I'm doing better than I used to be doing. So I'm going to go buy something. Buying something through media has created this mentality that if I got something, I can show people I'm better than I used to be at something by showing, look what I'm driving, look what I'm wearing, look where I live. And without taking the time, everything you spend has a consequence, a ramification, or a return. And you should know what consequences come with spending your money in any particular area. You should also know what comes with the opportunity to grow. Even in the opportunity of growth of investing, you should have an understanding of how much it's going to cost to get into this investment, what the potential risks are for being in this investment, and over the whole value of that determine if it's a worthwhile investment. But buying something that immediately depreciates isn't an investment. It's a consumption, and that consumption works against you, and that consumption will eat up your future. That consumption will create a mindset that will consistently keep you in that same place. That's why you have people, no matter how much they make, you got people who make $40,000 a year, and you got people who make $180,000 a year, and they are both the same number of days from losing their job to being homeless. So it's not about how much money you make, it's about what you do with it. Prime example, John Crowley. John Crowley never made more than $12 an hour in his lifetime. He was a parking lot attendant. He just happened to work in the financial district. And so when people would come out and park, he would ask those brokers, he would ask those financial advisors, those money managers, what he could invest in, what would be a good move, what should he be doing? And he took their advice. And over the course of his life as a parking lot attendant, where he maxed out at $12, he was taking what he made at $12 an hour, and he was putting a certain percentage of it, no matter how painful it was, into the future of his family. And he had to sell that. Imagine telling your wife, man, I only make this much, and I'm taking this much. We can't even touch this. This is going over here, and having her to be able to see the vision. But that's the beautiful thing about it. The mindset is about the vision. The mindset is about, what do I want for the future, and what sacrifices are required in order for me to have it. And the sacrifice is, I might not be able to go shopping. I may not be able to go on that vacation for a couple of years. I mean, and everybody, hey, take care of yourself, do yourself. Don't take me, let me take you off your self-love thing. I get it. That needs to be the way to care for you, but you've got to understand with great specificity what each expenditure is going to cost you long term. There used to be this commercial. I want to say it was a Paul Jones commercial. It may have been a Morgan Stanley commercial, but it was 20 years ago or so. And it would come on, and they would show people purchasing different expensive things. Like one of them was a Breitling watch. I think the white watch was probably about 6,000. And it says, this watch, it's a beautiful watch. It's a nice timepiece. And it shows the guy looking at it. He says, but this $6,000 watch is going to cost you over the next 10 years, $35,000. What they're doing is they're looking at, okay, you spent it. It's not, now a Breitling watch isn't a bad watch. It'll hold a certain amount of value, but it's going to immediately depreciate upon purchase. And it has very little chance of growing in or ever reaching a point where it starts to appreciate, unless they stop making it in some kind of way. It becomes a limited edition or considered a collector's item. Then it'll start to appreciate. But as a general rule, it's just a nice watch that you spend a lot of money on. And that money that you spent on it, you could have spent and got you a $300, $400 watch, still good, keeps time, looks nice on your arm, and took the other $5,500 and invested it in something that has appreciating value, and you would have made that amount of money on average. In other words, take it and put it into an interest-bearing investment. A passively managed mutual fund, an index fund. And these are the returns you could be looking at over the course of that period. So then that's understanding what you spend and how it impacts you. That mindset is going to determine, I'm going to tell you, one of the biggest mindsets that hurt people is not the inability to understand numbers. It's not the inability to calculate. It's a scarcity or lack mindset that will choke the life out of your future, because it will keep you frozen in fear. It will keep you looking at everything as if there isn't a world of abundance. This is a world of abundance. They create lack in order to drive up prices. Diamonds are a primary example. Diamonds are so in abundant that everybody could have them. Literally, it's that many diamonds that everybody in the world can have diamonds. But what they do is they only put a certain amount on the market. Why? To create a sense of scarcity and lack, so that the prices can go up. They give value to something that's a natural resource. They're mining the hell out of diamond mines. And they're study mining them because it's diamonds being created constantly. It's a natural ecological process. It's and the earth has resources in so many different areas for things that we pay so much money for, because the mindset of lack has been pushed out and people think it's expensive, so they spend a lot of money on it. Um, the thing is, you've got to get to a point to understand that whatever it is in life that you want, you can create. Oh, I didn't finish the whole John Crowley story. John Crowley ended up only making $12 an hour, but listening to the people on what he should do with his money, ended up retiring with a net worth of over $500,000, house paid off, kids sent to college, and still growing his portfolio. Um, that is that one. There's the story of Theodore Johnson, another person who worked for UPS way back in the day. He's since passed away in his 90s, but way back when he was a working man, he maxed out at UPS way back when salaries were really low, but probably high for that time of life. And he made at his top $14,000 a year. Happened to know somebody who was doing pretty good with their money and had a little wealth. And he said, man, I would love to have that type of wealth. I would love to build it. But I don't know how. And the guy told him, you need to take 20% of your income and invest it in something, a compound mechanism. And he said, I don't have 20% of income to go. I only make $14,000 a year. He says, you can't afford not to. And then the guy told him that this and gave him this and that. Says, if the US government were to say they're going to raise your taxes by 20%, you would have a conniption, have a fit, but at the end of the day, you would pay your taxes. Why not tax yourself to grow your wealth? And he did. And he never stopped working at UPS. That's what gets me about both John Crowley and Theodore Johnson, is both of them earned more money in what they were investing, but they never left their jobs. Maybe they love their jobs. Maybe that was their, I'm always going to have this no matter what goes wrong thing. I don't know. But I know that when Theodore Johnson retired, he was worth 72 million. He continued to grow his portfolio after his retirement. And when he turned 90 before he passed away, he gave half of it to charity. Now, none of this stuff is typical because you have to put in the work. You have to have the consistency. You have to have the discipline, and things have to fall in line in a certain way. But what I can tell you is, with the right mindset, your wealth will grow. Being cash heavy is one of the worst things in the world. The idea, the mindset that I got to have a lot of cash. Wealthy people don't have a lot of liquid assets laying around, because liquid assets depreciate and the volatility of markets will totally annihilate them. You have money when you necessarily needed to negotiate transactions. Other than that, you should have your money in something that's appreciating. It's real simple. I move most of my stuff into my company because my company is in a growth spurt. And so it requires it. Plus, that's the safest place for it, because the value of the company can always be evaluated against markets in multiple places, because what I do, I can do more in just the US. So it's a great place to insulate against anything that may be happening in the US market while taking advantages of other things. But and your business, if you own a business or businesses, there are a part of your net worth. It's not everybody that's a millionaire doesn't have $1 million in the bank. Matter of fact, anybody that's has a net worth of under 10 million, I guarantee you, very rarely are they going to have $1 million in cash and assets. Just doesn't make sense. And they didn't get there by doing that. The average person didn't get there by doing that. It's so much to learn about the mindset. There's so many different things that we have in our minds about what a certain thing looks like, that we don't understand what it really is. And so my goal has been to illuminate the obvious and uncover the submersed, to reveal to you all the things that are in front of you and the things that are possible when you set your mind to do something. Now, what I can tell you from experience and from observation is that none of this is easy. None of this is this, you do this and it's learning the game. It's putting energy, effort, and time into mastering money. And it's an ongoing process. It's year after year getting better, understanding this about this, mastering that part of it, and then growing your capacity to produce what you want in life. And that's it. You've heard me say this, whether we're talking money, whether we're talking career, whether we're talking love. I tell you all the time that you don't get what you want. That's not how life works. You don't get what you want, you get who you are. What does that mean? You get what you're able to become. You should be in a constant state of becoming. You should be in a constant state of intentional and deliberate growth. You should determine what you want in life. Ask yourself a question. If I want that in life, what does a person who has that look like? What do they do well? What time do they wake up? How many books do they read? What do they focus on? What kind of conversations do they have? What does their self-talk look like? Do they journal? Do they meditate? All of the things that are going to make them who they are. How much of that am I doing? How does my conversation differ from that? How does my circle differ from theirs? All of these things are the things you look at and say, okay, this is the person I need to grow in. This person that has all this stuff that I say I want, that's the person I need to grow into. Not them identically, but the person who practices the right habits, the right thought processes, has the right circle around them. All those things are absolutely necessary to be. If you don't get what you want, you get who you are, or more importantly, what you're capable of becoming. So if I see something and I can't and I don't have it, then I don't have it because I haven't become the person capable of producing it. Or I've become the person capable of producing it, and I am now in the process of producing it, and I can see the progress. But what I have to understand is sitting around thinking that there's this magical moment in life that just because I have this vision, or just because I have this dream, or just because I'm sitting here and I'm saying, man, this is what should really go on. If they got it, I should have it. That is going to manifest. That's not the law of attraction. That's wishing. The law of attraction is a complete dynamic of mentality, energy, and motion. It's about saying, this is what I'm going to have, creating the right mindset, focusing on what I want and not what I don't want, and then letting my actions reflect what I believe. When you sit up and you actually make up in your mind that you're going to do something, that this is what I'm going to do. In other words, this is what I want, so this is who I'm going to become. The universe begins to conspire with you to make sure what it is you desire you have. God designed it. It's called faith. And we can call it a bunch of different things, but in essence, it's faith. Whatever I believe, I act on. Faith isn't something about saying I believe it. Faith is something by saying, watch me and you'll see what I believe. And then when you do that, the universe has no other option but to conspire with you on your vision, to conspire with you on your dream, to conspire with you on the things you want. The problem is we tend to focus on what we don't want. We allow the ancient part of our brain to sit up and run our lives, that part of the brain that's designed to find what's wrong, because it's going to trigger the fight or flight response so that we can run or we can fight, because we're constantly in a state of survival. Being in survival mode takes you out of the capacity to do exceptional and extraordinary things, because all you see is what's in front of you right now. And you are 9 times out of 10 focused on what's negative. You're not focused on the solution, you're focused on the problem. You can't solve a problem focusing on it. You solve the problem focusing on the solution. And it's the same thing with money. You got to sit up and say, okay, this is what's going on. And then you say, okay, that's what I want. Why don't I have it? Okay, since I don't know all the answers, that's probably why I don't have it. Let me find someone who does. What are they doing differently than me? I wonder if they will talk to me. If not, I wonder if they have a book. I wonder if they've done an interview. I wonder if there's something that I could read to put me inside of their minds to find out how they move. Then let me look for patterns. Let me look at 10 different people who are doing things that I consider something valuable and worthy of me. And then I see, what are all of them doing? Well, I can tell you one of the things successful people read. The average person in America reads 1 book a year. The top 5 producers in the U.S. read a minimum of 4 books a month. So that's one thing you definitely should be doing. And you focus your reading. You have intentional reading. This isn't just reading for enjoyment. You should enjoy reading, but this is reading for the accumulation and acquisition of applicable knowledge. And you're looking for things that's going to grow your capacity to understand what your next move is. And then you act on it. Let's get rid of the idea that knowledge is power. But doc, knowledge, no, knowledge is potential. Knowledge doesn't become power until it is properly, effectively, and adequately applied. And that's the problem. You got a bunch of people who know stuff, haven't applied anything. And at some level, we all do it. We got some stuff we know we're not using. And then when we talk to somebody, they say, blah, and you said, man, I already knew it. Why? It's a process of learning. And here's one of the things that I'll tell you. What a lot of people will do, they'll learn it and they'll say, man, eventually I'm going to. The procrastinator. Eventually I'm going to. Man, when this is done, I'm going to do this. When I finish this, I'm going to get that. When the kids do this, I'm going to do that. When I finally get the kids out the house, when I finally, I will. And it never happens. That knowledge just goes to the back. It's categorized, filed away in the brain with billions of other memories and thoughts and ideas. And eventually it just gets submerged so much that you forget it's back there until something triggers it and you remember, man, I already knew this, because you didn't apply it. When you get it, start on it. Take a step, invest, and go for it. And when I say invest, I'm talking about your time, energy, and a commitment and a discipline that says I'm going to follow through on it. And that's one of the, it's about follow through and discipline. Money is no different than any other area of your life. When you overemphasize money, it becomes too powerful, too overwhelming. You give it too much meaning. It's an instrument. That's all money is. That's all wealth is. It's an instrument for you to do the things that are important to you, to have the things that are important to you, to be where you want to be, to love the way you want to love, to be able to do what you want to do. It's an instrument. But when you see money as the end all, it becomes overwhelming, because if I don't have it, the thing is, once I learned money was an instrument to get me things, then I found out that there were sometimes I could be resourceful and bypass the need for money. I could barter. It's just so many different things. When you understand, sometimes I don't need the money to have it. I'm just so convinced that the only way to have anything is to have the money. And then what happens is eventually you start to find ways to create ways without money to have money. And you bypass this idea that in order to make money, you got to have a whole lot of money. No, you got to have a brain. You got to have the willingness to go out and say, I'm going to figure a way to do it. I'm going to bring value to something outside of money so that I can create the avenue to have money. In other words, there's something inside of you that's valuable. Find a way to use it to help other people. You create an avenue for earning revenue. That's all a business is, solving a problem. That's why I created the 7-day online business launch course, because there's so many opportunities to go out there to help people do stuff in so many different ways that will create a revenue stream for you. Everybody needs at least 2 of those revenue streams outside of your primary revenue stream. So you need a primary source of income and a minimum of 2 supplemental streams of income to hedge that primary source in case something goes wrong. If you don't have it, you need to be creating it. The best way to do that right now is online, and technology is ramping it up, and there's so many things and so many ways to do it. And don't miss it, because the cycle of transition and transformation in tech is moving so fast that something you'll be bypassing that and you'll be that much further behind the 8 ball. If you master what's going on now, you'll transition easily into the next trend, into the next move, into the next cycle, whatever you want to call it. But you're going to have to be engaged. And I'm doing everything I can to keep people engaged. The thing is, most people who come from a background of poverty come from a lack or a scarcity mindset. There's only so much out there. You got to be careful. Can't do this, can't do. And you either get a little money and go crazy, or you sit in this little corner and you just hoard what little bit and you're there. And the thing is, all that hoarding will not save you from a catastrophic hit, because you can have your $50, and if the value of the dollar plummets, it's no longer $50, it's $10. And you could have actually had that 50, put it into something that held value, and it would still be worth 50 or more. And you've got to learn how to do that and do that. And it's not comfortable because it's not where you come from, but it's something that has to change. It is absolutely imperative that that part of your mindset change. You can't have a scarcity mindset. Scarcity mindset puts you in a constant state of survival. There's nothing more frustrating to a vision and a dream than living in survival mode. Constantly waking up every day, only prepared to deal with the struggles of the day, trying to figure out how just to get through the day. You're going to have to look beyond today and see the future you want and start planning for it. Start planting seeds that will take time to gestate and germinate and come to fruition for harvest. Everything worth having will take energy, effort, time, patience, and resilience. It's not going to happen overnight. So what am I? I'm saying that it's about your mindset. I'm coming out of this survival mode. I'm coming out of this scarcity mindset. I'm coming out of this need to feel like I've got to have something new every time I get paid to feel good about myself. I'm going to address all these issues that's putting money in places that money doesn't grow. I'm going to invest in me. That's something that is absolutely imperative. So that's my thing. I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to step out and start to challenge how you think about money. I'm going to challenge you to step out and start reading books on money. I want you to challenge yourself to start learning the principles of finance. You've got to learn it. That's why I created the Legacy Wealth Path to Generational Wealth course. This 18-month course is going to teach you all of that, but you still have to have the right mindset for it to make sense to you, because it's going to take you out of your comfort zone. It's going to take you out of this space that you're used to being in, and it's going to put you in an entirely different world, and you got to be prepared and ready for it, but it'll do that for you. And the crazy thing is that $2,600 course is a part of the four or five bonuses that you can choose from if you register for the 7-day online business launch course. You can literally choose that course as your free bonus, and you get that course plus a 7-day online business course. If you happen to be the first person to sign up this morning, and you'll know if you're not the first, because the moment that the first comes on, everything will be updated and you will know that that bonus is no longer available. I'm not trying to get a bunch of people. I do what I say I do. If I say I'm gonna give it to you, I'm gonna give it to you. But I'm only giving it to the first person because that's literally my time. And that's a $3,000 value. For the first person who signs up, you will get to choose one of the 4 bonuses that's there. Plus, you will get 6 intensive transformational sessions with yours truly, a $3,000 value on top of all the other stuff that's there. That's what I'm giving today. That ends tonight at 11:59. But the bonus for working with me for 6 sessions, that's the first person who signs up. Look, I'm about to get off of here. I got a couple of sessions with clients that I need to prepare for. But I want to encourage you to understand that just because you're here right now is not indicative of where you can be. Your current situation isn't indicative where you can be. It's indicative of your past thinking, your past habitual behaviors, and how you've been moving. You can always change that. You can change how you think. You can change how you move. You can change the people you associate with, because association brings about assimilation. The people that you are around are going to impact your behavior. It's going to impact your thinking. It's going to impact your view of life. You're going to be on average. You're going to be basically the average of the 5 people you spend the most time around. If you're not elevating at a rate you want to elevate at, you need to create a circle that will challenge that. That's so important as well. On that note, look, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. I hope to see some of you guys signing up for these opportunities. On that note, I'm out. As I always say, I live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I die on E. I'm challenging you to take on that same mindset. Leave an imprint in this world that will speak of you long after you're gone. On that note, I'm out of here. You guys have a great day.